speaking with artist Jennifer Lashbrook, and her art is very, very unique, and she's going to tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I'm Jennifer from Dallas. I take paint swatches from the hardware store, so my art is all made out of recycled paper, and they're pixelated images. So up close, it's just kind of a loss of color squares, and then as you get to a distance, then they become a lot more clear. Or if you view them through your cell phone, it's shocking how clear they get.
Jennifer, can you tell us a little bit about your background or where you found the inspiration to start creating art like this?
Absolutely. Like my biggest inspiration is Chuck Close. I absolutely love his work. So I got the idea in college. I was always in the hardware store getting lumber to create, to make the panels for the work. And on the way to lumber, I would pass by the paints. All the color organization really attracted me. And then I started doing them pixelated more recently just to make it more obvious that they're paint swatches versus just a painting, because that's what makes them really stand out.
And Jennifer is the Coconut Grove Art Festival Critics' Choice Award recipient of last year's festival. So be sure to stop by Coconut Grove and check out her work. Here with artist Ccucu King, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his art. So thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Can you tell me what role you think your art plays in society today?
The role my art plays in society. Well, to me, it's really personal the way I create my work and the kind of everything I pour into it. It's such a powerful thing for my own practice. How it comes out into the world, I feel people are drawn to it. The people that actually do collect the work, it's a statement for their home, but it's also something that really represents who they are. They find serenity within the pieces, so they place them in places in their home that really kind of set the tone to where or how they want to live. So it's kind of adding more peace to the world.
Could you walk us through your creation, your creative process?
Yeah, well, I'm a wire worker. I've been a wire worker for 17 years, and the techniques I'm using now, I think, are fine-tuned simplifications of more technically advanced techniques I was exploring when I was younger. Now that I'm older, it's all about the simplicity. So adding layers of simplicity to create really technically advanced pieces that really show off how wire can just become media for really fine art.
Speaking with artist Marilyn Valiente, and she's going to tell me a little bit about what she does and if she hopes for her art to convey a certain message.
Yes, this series I'm doing right here, some of them are called Boxed In, and they're really talking about psychological issues. My other day job, I'm a therapist. So this is some of my own internal work as well as what I see in some of my patients. Like this one, I call it heavy load, and that has to do with some of the stuff that burden us, that stress us. But most of my work is intuitive. So when I start, I'm just throwing the paint around, and then I try to figure out what's going on with that painting, how does it speak to me, and what is going on with me as well.
So, Marilyn, would you say that the message you're trying to convey with your work are maybe messages about what's happening around us today, or maybe regarding mental health?
A lot of it has to do with mental health and what's going on with us. Art has always been has been created to move people emotionally, I think, because most of the art does that. And so I hope that when they look at my painting, they can be in touch with something inside them that would help them to deal with it, or maybe bring it forward a little bit more.
That's wonderful. Can you share your website or social media with our viewers?
Yes, like my name, Marilyn-Valiente.com.
The honor of speaking with artist Margaret Luttrell, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what she does. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Can you tell us a little bit about your art?
Okay, this is encaustic art. It's beeswax and resin and pigment. And you paint with a hot palette, and then you actually fuse every brushstroke, every layer that you put on. So eventually what happens, it's one solid piece of wax, which is very, very stable, and it doesn't melt unless it's over 140 degrees. It's the oldest two-dimensional work, flat two-dimensional work in the world, because the Greeks did it in the 4th century. I'm a storyteller, and these stories about the Greek myths go through every culture. They're the creation stories. Like this story right here is really about Orpheus and Eurydice, but it's also about Lot's wife and Polynesian society and Native American society. All these constellation and Native American myths overlap and go through society. So I think they're pretty current and pretty important to me.
To learn more about art and its effect on our culture, please visit www.ccucu.com.